Day 96. Judges chapter 19, 20 and 21. As we read the final passages of today's book, the Bible repeats a haunting phrase. In those days, Israel had no king. The truth is that they were living as if God himself was not their king. And when God is not ruling the heart, anything can happen. This is not just Israel's story. It is ours too. Let's start where a Levite, living in the remote hill country of Ephraim, takes a concubine from Bethlehem. Already, something feels off. Not God's original design, not God's highest standard, but compromise often starts quietly. Later, as they journey, night begins to fall. They pass by Jebus, what we now know as Jerusalem, but he refuses to stay there because it is not an Israelite city. Instead, he says, "We will go on to Gibeah." It sounds spiritual, doesn't it? Choosing what appears godly over what seems foreign. But here is the whisper. Not every decision that looks spiritual is guided by God. Sometimes we avoid the obvious danger, only to walk straight into hidden destruction. They arrive in Gibeah, sit in the city square, and no one offers them shelter. A society that once valued hospitality, now ignores human need, until one old man steps in. Night falls, darkness deepens, then comes a scene almost too painful to imagine. Wicked men surround the house demanding to violate the Levite. The old man pleads, "Don't do this vile thing." But then, something shocking happens. Instead of protecting the vulnerable, they offer the women. And eventually, the Levite sends his concubine outside. She is abused all night, and by morning she is dead. Pause here, breathe. Because this is where the whisper gets uncomfortable. Evil does not only grow because of wicked people, it grows because good people refuse to stand firm. The old man spoke, but he did not stand. The Levite knew, but he did not protect, and an innocent life paid the price. Today, it may not look like this, but every time we stay silent in the face of injustice, every time we protect our comfort over someone else's safety, we echo this story. The Levite returns home, and in a moment that shocks the entire nation, he cuts her body into 12 pieces, and sends them across Israel. A gruesome act, but it awakens a sleeping conscience. All Israel rises as one. None of us will go home. Finally, unity. But listen closely. Unity without God's direction can still lead to destruction. They gather, they plan, they fight, but they don't truly seek God first. Yes, they ask questions, but their hearts are already set on revenge. And what follows? War, confusion, loss. Thousands die on both sides. The tribe of Benjamin refuses to listen. Even when confronted, even when warned, they choose loyalty to wrongdoing over repentance. There is a dangerous kind of loyalty, the one that defends wrong instead of correcting it. How often do we see this today? Families covering up truth. Friends excusing destructive behavior. Leaders protecting systems instead of people. Benjamin stands its ground, and it costs them everything. The Israelites finally begin to inquire of God more deeply, and eventually they win the battle. But by then, it is too late. A tribe is nearly wiped out. Only 600 men remain, hiding at the rock of Rimmon. And now, the same people who fought in anger, sit before God, weeping. Why has this happened? Isn't that familiar? We often ask God why, after we ignored him in the how. Now comes the final twist. Israel realizes, if Benjamin disappears, a part of their identity is gone. But they had made a vow, not to give their daughters in marriage to them. So what do? They create solutions. Flawed, painful, desperate solutions. They destroy one city to take its women. Then instruct the remaining men to kidnap women dancing in Shiloh. And they call it restoration. But listen carefully. When we try to fix spiritual problems with human shortcuts, we multiply the damage. No repentance, no true healing, just survival. And the book of Judges closes with the same haunting truth. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. But here is the whisper for you today. A life without God's rule doesn't always look chaotic at first, but it always ends in confusion. Maybe today your life feels a little out of order. Not completely broken, just slightly misaligned. Maybe you've been making decisions based on feelings, convenience, or what seems right. Maybe you've ignored that quiet voice of God nudging you. This story is not here to condemn you. It is here to invite you. Back to alignment. Back to surrender. Back to letting God truly be king. Because when God is king, You don't sacrifice others to protect yourself. You don't stay silent in the face of wrong. You don't fix things your own way. You don't walk in confusion, you walk in light. So today, pause. Ask yourself, who is truly leading my life? Not in words but in decisions. Because the difference between chaos and peace is not intelligence, not experience, it is who sits on the throne of your heart. Let God be king again, and the story will change.